Hello, hello, gutsy women. Welcome to this wonderful morning in the UK and a very early morning for my lovely interviewee this morning on Thursday. And I have the very high honour to welcome to the stage Kimber Collins. And she's with us very early. It's 2 a.m. or something where she is. So I'm just so grateful for her presence here today. Hi, Kimber.
Hi, Dee, and hi, Gutsy Women. Good to be here, of course.
Oh, and thank you so much for coming on so early. And I would
You're
love
welcome.
you to, you've got such a, what I would say is quite a powerful story. And you've got a story that many people may well be familiar with, and yet many people are not brave enough to speak about. And I just wanted to put that out there because as this group is all around the mind and the body connection to chronic illnesses, this is one that I've had to work with clients with in the past. And so I know the mindset around it. So this is a little teaser for the people who are listening and maybe
Mm.
watching on replay. They're going, come get to the point, Dee. Okay, so I'd love you to tell people who you are and what you do, but what got you to doing the work that you now do? What's the story behind it?
Okay, it comes from a deep place. Um, I'll say starting as a child, I had just a strong instinct that things were off in the world. And because of that, I could never just find contentment in life like my peers. Never. And that carried on throughout my adult years. So I finally came into knowledge, a specific type of knowledge that really spoke to my soul. It was the thing that I was looking for all of my life. And that is what I would call the immortal sciences. So the science of body regeneration. That was a huge key for me. When I found that science, I went all in for, I'll say for 4 years, I studied day in and day out, listening to lectures and doing self-study, doing research on this particular topic. And what came out of that dedication was the realization that the body will restore itself in just about any situation if it's given the proper conditions to do so. And so that was one of the few things in life that I could actually hold on to. There's so many things in this existence that we're in that's infallible. There always seems to be a flaw or a fault, and things always seem to terminate. And that isn't that just doesn't soothe my spirit. But the science of body regeneration is a science that continues, it perpetuates. So I found my peace in that. Now, during that time of studying, I was diagnosed with genital HSV2. So once I realized that, okay, the body can find its way back to perfection, then I turned that truth onto myself, and I was convicted that I was going to heal from genital HSV2, and that's what I set out to do. So I prepared myself for the healing. There were certain things that I had to do to be able to achieve the result I was looking for. And I ended up coming across a specific chemical that's known internationally to be highly effective at addressing pathogens. So I did some research on that chemical, and then I ended up crafting a holistic protocol that I felt was going to be effective at treating my diagnosis. So I took 3 months of dedication and focus, and I ended up successfully healing from my diagnosis. And I was definitely with that diagnosis for 10 years. So to have come out of it, right, to have come out of that situation when the world internationally knows that genital herpes is an incurable disease,
Mm.
that was another pivotal moment in my life that made me understand that, okay, whatever people are saying life is and what life isn't, I can't listen to that. I can't listen to that because I just did something that other people consider to be impossible. So now I really have to lead my life using my own perspective, not the perspective of man. So you asked me, okay, so that's that is what led me to that success. Now, because I'm so passionate about the body, it's one of the few things that really fulfills me in life is being intimate with the flesh. I have transformed my success story of
Oh, I can't
healing.
hear. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, you can hear me.
Yes, it went off there.
No worries. What was the last? Uh,
You said
yeah, what was the last thing?
you said that you successfully healed it, and then it went off. So,
Right. Okay. So once I successfully healed, oh, okay. So I'm saying because I have such a passion for being intimate with the flesh, I have a passion for being intimate with the body. I transformed that healing success story into a unique company in which I provide the protocol that offered me the success. So now, any woman or man that comes across my message, they have the opportunity to participate in the process that worked for me.
wonderful. So, Kimber, that
Yeah,
that was a personal journey of yours to actually go
yeah.
through all of that. And one of my questions is, what mindset shifts would you say someone with this condition might need to consider looking at in order to heal from this?
Mm. There's different touch points, but the first one that's coming to mind is you have to detach from the stigma behind it, what other people perceive of it. Because the reality is, a lot of people do not know the depth of the virus, what it truly is, and how it truly functions. Most people only know or perceive it to be something that is sexually transmitted. And because of that, there's a lot of stigma as if someone is not hygienic or they don't have self-respect because they have been diagnosed with this virus. And that's just not the case for many people. Um, you have to detach from the mindset of other people and you have to value and prioritize your own. And that takes work depending on if you're externally focused.
Mm.
That's going to take work, but pulling yourself back to yourself and valuing your own opinion is the necessary work when diagnosed with this virus.
Mm-hmm. I would, yes, I would imagine so, because it's the outward judgment of other people when they find out.
Yeah.
I would, and I've had clients in the past say to me, then I can't have a relationship because I'm ashamed that they're going to reject me because I have this genital herpes. And so where do people go? Where would you say people go with that? What was this? What was the step that that you think people should take in, if that is their story?
If they are afflicted by the shame surrounding the virus, what steps do I think they should take?
Yeah.
Journaling is not for everyone, but journaling is a really good tool. And it doesn't have to be in the written format. It could be just by using your voice. So just pulling out your phone recorder and speaking your feelings, your hurts, your shame surrounding the topic, that's an excellent way of releasing the shame. So releasing it is critical. And then also getting a therapist, that's talk therapy. So what I just mentioned about using your voice, and recording that intimately with yourself, or journaling in the written format, these are forms of talk therapy or conversational therapy, but having a professional therapist, yeah, that's an excellent tool as well, for sure.
Mm-hmm. And is that something that you offer in your work? Is it part of your process that you offer people, not just the chemical that you discovered,
Yeah.
and but the actual mindset work? Is that something that you work with?
You know, I do have a Facebook group, and I do offer talk therapy, and I'm not a licensed professional. Um, I'm not a licensed professional. However, if a woman, and the group is specifically for women, um, what I've come to understand is even if a woman were to successfully heal herself from this diagnosis, depending on how she got the virus or um, the infection, she could still be dealing with psychological torment, because the incident could have came about in terms of um, being sexually violated.
Yes.
So she's going to have to go through some psychological work. So in my support group, I do offer talk therapy, and that is where a woman can just send me a personal message, whether through the Facebook or my personal phone, and I will send very thoughtful questions to her to have her respond to those questions. And that is how I formulate the talk therapy.
Wonderful. Yes, because I think it's a gentle, it's a it's kind of like a gentle dance into it for a lot of people, in opening
Mm,
up and
mm,
being open about
mm,
the fact of what happened to them,
yeah,
how they contracted this virus, and all of those kinds of
mm,
different things. And that needs to be handled, like you say, gently and thoughtfully. So it's
mm,
about a safe space. And I imagine your group is a wonderfully safe space for women to open up about this condition for them. So my next question is, when you discovered this chemical, is it a chemical that you can, you know, get from a chemist or get from a health shop, or is this something that you've developed yourself?
yeah. I don't know it to be in any health stores. Not to say that it isn't, but I don't know that. What I do know is it is commonly used in American households. And what it is it is, so it's called chlorine dioxide.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do research on it, you'll find that it is marketed heavily for industrial use. So you're not going to find it for personal settings.
Mm.
And however, in doing my due diligence, I do recognize that there is a niche market. So in American households, people use it for water treatment. As I mentioned, it is internationally known as a powerful biocide for pathogens. So in America, people do use it for their hiking trips, their camping trips, and at-home water treatment. So yeah, I did have to dive a little deeper because you will not find it for just regular everyday use for the body. And I think that's what makes my journey with understanding the chemical a bit different, because I made it very personal, right? So yeah.
Okay. And so when you did that deep dive into this product, this chemical, and was there a lot of experimentation you had to do in order to get the right dosage or the right mechanism for using it with yourself?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So I had to do a lot of reading on animal studies. I couldn't find any human use cases. So how I came into the awareness of chlorine dioxide was the FDA has put a lot of propaganda and misinformation surrounding the personal uses of it. But for industrial uses, it's okay. So I could only locate animal studies. So the animal studies gave me indication on how I need to go about the dosing. And that's how I pieced it together, was doing that study.
It's like a lot of things, isn't it, Kimber, that there are a lot of chemicals that are used industrially. And I think a lot of people will be surprised to find out that a lot of the industrial chemicals are actually in their pharmaceutical products anyway. Because a lot of pharmaceutical products started out as industrial oil-based products that were used for cleaning, for disinfecting, all of that kind of thing. And yet they're actually in a lot of pharmaceutical drugs that people take regularly.
Yes. And you saying that, what's coming to mind is when it comes to healing, there's many apparatuses that could, I think that's the word, apparatuses that could be used to facilitate healing. The key is no matter how, because there's some herbs or other methodologies that could be poisonous to the system if you overdo it. But it's just a matter of dosage and respect for whatever tool that you're using. You always want to go into things with respect and be able to identify that many things just need to be used for a short period of time. So whatever method you choose, just use it for that time being and then pull off on it when you get what you need from it. But many of us are not taught to have that perspective. So we'll hear something like a chemical, right? And we might be turned off from it. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it shouldn't be used. You just have to be mindful in how you approach things. But that's with anything in life. So
Very
yeah.
true. Yeah, it's very true. And I know there are lots of plants and herbs that we have to be very, very respectful of as well in the way that we use them. So whether we're using a chemical, or whether we're using a herb or a supplement, there are certain contraindications around how you mix them together, if you like. And so we have to be mindful of all things. And so you've hit on a really, really important point, that just because it's used in one way doesn't mean it can't be used in another way.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think that's a lot of ways is how they've worked with plants and medicines throughout history. They've found, oh, we're using it for this, but actually it works really well for this as well.
Yeah, off as well. Exactly. That's it. That's the key.
Yes. Yeah. And so when you said it doesn't necessarily need to take long, how long, once you start using the protocol that you've discovered, what would you say the time scale would be? Or would that be also part of somebody's mindset? If they believe in it enough, it will work more quickly? Or
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, that's an excellent question. So what I understand, so part of me creating the protocol, I had to marry my knowledge of body cleansing. So what I understand about cleansing, um, especially with a chronic issue, you really want to give it, you really want to give it some time. So it's never going to be a process where it's a week, or I would even say a month. From what I understand about viruses, especially, 3 months is the minimum that you want to apply to whatever protocol that you use. So so that's one aspect. And then now the psychological component, that's important as well, because whatever you opt into, and related to anything in life, I would say you really want to go in with some conviction. You really want to be aligned with yourself, in your constitution, that yeah, this is going to work for me. You don't want to have inner conflict or have a duality in your thinking. So that's an important part as well. That is a part of the holistic aspect. And then I would conclude, everyone's biology is different. So just because I applied 3 months to the protocol, and that I would give that wisdom to another person, apply 3 months as well at minimum, that does not mean that person isn't going to get the results that they're looking for within 2 months or 1 month. And that is just having the wisdom that everyone's biochemistry is different.
yes.
That's very important to understand.
And if they got the result in 1 month or 2 months, would you still recommend they continue for the full 3 months? Or would you stop
Yeah.
at that point?
There's controversy in surrounding the topic of HSV, because there is what is called a false negative. Okay, false negative testing. So that's when someone gets their diagnosis and then they're told, let me put it this way. If someone receives their diagnosis and they're told that they suddenly are no longer diagnosed, within the HSV community, there is a huge controversy surrounding that because of the antibody count. There are many reasons why the antibody count would fluctuate, but there's also discrepancies within the testing technology itself. So one example is the testing ratio. A person getting tested for HSV might go to one clinic and the ratio that they use for testing the antibodies would be different from an entirely different clinic. That's just one discrepancy that I see within HSV testing or diagnosis. So you're asking me, would I encourage a person to continue, even if they did get a negative test result after a month of going through a protocol, correct?
Yes.
This is what I would say. Live blood analysis is not well known, but it is a real thing. Live blood analysis will give you indication of what's going on inside of your blood in real time. And it's not, antibody testing is very limited. It's just antibodies, but live blood analysis will cover a wide variety of elements within the blood. So, in my understanding of live blood analysis, what I would say is if if a person were to test themselves after 2 months of going through a protocol and they get a negative test, I would suggest that they go and get live blood analysis, um, maybe like a month later, to see that, to confirm that that virus has definitely left the system. That's what I would suggest. And I would conclude, if you don't have access to live blood analysis, you definitely want to get tested a few times over a span of time to confirm the effectiveness of that 2 months.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's been fascinating to hear all of this, the convoluted things that are actually part and parcel of the whole process, because it's not just a case of somebody coming to you and saying, Kimber, can you please help me, just take some of this and you'll be fine. It's not like that at all. And
no, of course not.
Exactly. And so it is a much deeper dive into not only how your body's responding to any trauma around how the virus was contracted, any shame, any guilt, any feelings and emotions and thoughts that would actually keep something locked into the body. So it's, with any chronic condition, we have to consider what is holding it there, and why is that benefiting us to hold it there, as well as the treatment itself, which is obviously, the treatment that you offer. So you've also had, before we end this fascinating conversation, which I could continue all day, but you're also a chemist, aren't you? You've gone through your own qualification in chemistry. We've had an interview previously on another channel, and you told me about your background in becoming a chemist in order to look at this protocol and this chemical in such a way. So you're not just speaking from your own personal experience, but you're also speaking from the fact that you've done the work around it.
No, okay. If anyone were to perceive me as a biochemist, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I'm not. I have no, I need to, that's good, because I do speak responsibly when I'm speaking about the protocol. I am not a licensed professional. Now, I am an independent scientist. I am an independent researcher. I've been doing that for the last 7 years, and that a lot of that pursuit or that occupation is multifaceted, and the reasons why I do it. Now, my qualifications behind it is based upon my personal education, my personal experience, but I'm not a licensed professional, and everyone should know that about me. I'm very, very passionate about what I do, and that passion and that integrity that I have for what I do is what has offered me success. So I only speak from the protocol in regards to my personal success. So yes, anyone listening, you should definitely go and speak with a licensed physician before opting into the protocol, if that's what you're considering.
Lovely, yes. And that was the wording that I got confused on, so that's my mistake. When you said that previously that you are a independent researcher and independent scientist, yes. So I'm just going to make that really clear to anybody listening out there.
Yeah.
So Kimber, what would you say to somebody who has been listening today, has been filled with hope for the future, that there is a cure for this? How can they get in touch with you to find out a little bit more about your work and what it's done for you and the people that you're helping?
Okay. Again, to everyone that's listening to the sound of my voice, to be responsible when I'm speaking. I never will make an implication or a statement that what I'm offering is a cure. I won't say that it's a treatment. I won't say that it's a remedy to your diagnosis. I'm just here to share my experience and to facilitate, to be a bridge for you to have your own experience with the process that worked for me. And if you are interested in that process, you can find that, the protocol. It's called Wise Tower Method. And I named it Wise Tower Method as a branch of my company. My company is called Wise Tower Laboratory. If you're interested in the protocol, you can go to www.wisetowerlab.com. And if you have any questions, the best way to get in touch with me is through the website. There's a question and concerns tab. I am very quick to respond, and I'll get you taken care of with any question you may have regarding the protocol or what wisdom I could give you to prepare for the protocol, etc.
Okay. So could you put that into the comment section, because I can't see your lips, so I might, is it Wise Tower or Wise Teller?
Tower, you got it right.
Tower.
T-O, yeah, you got it right.
Okay. Okay. Why? So it's www.wisetowerlab.com.
Yes, WISETOWERLAB.
Yes. Yes.
Perfect, you got it perfect.
Lovely. Thank you. Thanks for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay. Yes, so yeah, I would love you to put that in, and also your Facebook group as well, so that people can go in and have a look and join your group and see what else you have to say and meet other people who are going through the same process and going through the same situation. Okay. So
yes,
Kimber, thank you so much. I've really appreciated this, because I do know from my own experience of working with people that this is such a difficult subject for a lot of people. So thank you for your forthrightness and for your openness about discussing this particular topic. And it is a chronic health condition that we look at within the Gutsy Women group. So we talk about anything and everything in this group that is affecting women in a way that is holding them back from leading the best life that they could possibly have. So thank you for being here today.
for sure. You're very welcome. Thank you for having me. One thing I enjoy about you and your engagement, you're very thoughtful. You're thoughtful and you're organic, and that makes a difference. So yeah, thank you for having me on your platform.
Oh, you're so
You
welcome.
enjoy your day. You have a great day. I see the sun is out on your end. I still have a few more hours. I still have a few more hours, so
yes, yeah.
yeah.
It's mid-morning here now. It's bright, but it's hiding behind the clouds still. So yeah, okay. Right, I will just take the live stream off. Just stay there for 2 minutes after I've done that.